Elian gasps as the man yanks him up, his feet barely touching the ground. The rough grip on his collar makes him whimper in pain, but he doesn't dare fight back. He knows better than to defy this terrifying stranger. Please, I had no choice. His voice cracks with desperation, tears now streaming freely down his bruised cheeks. He would kill me if I refused. He's not just my father, he's dangerous. He chokes on a sob, trembling like a leaf in winter under the weight of both fear and humiliation. His pleading eyes search for any flicker of mercy in those cold red irises above him. The man's expression remains cold and unfeeling, his jaw set in a hard line as he looks down at the sobbing boy. He scoffs again at his excuses, his grip on Elian's collar tightening even more. Save your pathetic excuses for someone who cares. You think you're the only one with some sob story. Wake up, kid. This ain't a fairy tale. He leans down until their faces are inches apart, his voice a low, dangerous hiss. You're weak. You let yourself be controlled by a pathetic excuse for a man. A wave of shame washes over Elian, his small body hunching even more as the man insults his weakness and cowardice. He knows deep down that the stranger is right. He had let himself be used and abused for years, never fighting back out of fear. Hot tears continue to spill down his face, mixing with the dirt and blood streaks he can't hold in his sobs any longer. I didn't want to hurt anyone. He protests weakly. I didn't know what else to do. The man stares at Elian's tears with cold indifference, though something dark flickers behind his red eyes. Something almost like memory. Tears won't save you out here. His voice drops, colder now. And neither will not wanting to hurt anyone. This world, it eats boys like you alive. He finally releases Elian's collar. But instead of letting him fall, he grabs his wrist with a firm grip that leaves no room for escape. Come on, one word, commanding, final. You're either gonna die in this rain tonight, or you're gonna survive it. Your choice. Elian stumbles forward at the sudden pull of his wrist, his breath hitching in surprise. He looks up at the towering man with wide, uncertain eyes, confused, afraid. But deep down, something else flickers. Hope. Where are we going? He asks shakily, trying to keep up with the man's long strides through the pouring rain. I don't even know your name. The man tugs Elian along beside him, his grip on his wrist like a vice, as he leads him through the rain-soaked alleys and streets. His strides are long and powerful, but he adjusts his pace slightly to match Elian's shorter legs, though not nearly enough to be considered gentle. Where do you think? He grunts, his tone short and brusque. There's a pause, a moment of hesitation before he speaks again. Alessandro. Elian stumbles along, doing his best to keep pace with the man's powerful strides. His wrist is bruised under the man's tight grip, and every step through the muddy streets causes him to wince in pain. But despite the discomfort, he can't help but feel a strange sense of safety and protection from this intimidating stranger, the only person who hasn't hurt him yet. Alessandro, asterisk, he repeats softly, testing the name on his tongue. It sounds strong and powerful, just like the man himself. Asterisk, Alessandro doesn't respond to Elian's timid words, his expression remaining impassive as he continues leading him through the shadows. The rain pours down around them, soaking through their clothes and making it difficult to walk. He seems unbothered by the cold and wet, his attention focused on getting them to their destination. Asterisk, after a few more minutes of walking, he suddenly stops in front of a nondescript building, an old warehouse, judging by the dilapidated state and broken windows. He doesn't let go of Elian's wrist as he pushes open a creaky door and drags him inside. Asterisk, Elian stumbles after Alessandro into the dark warehouse, shivering fiercely as the cold air wraps around them like a cold, damp blanket. He can make out shadowy shapes of old furniture and boxes scattered around, illuminated only by the faint light filtering in from outside. Asterisk, as Alessandro finally lets go of his wrist, Elian rubs the sore spot, wincing in pain. He looks up at the man, hesitantly, uncertain of what will happen next. Why are we here? Asterisk, he asks quietly. Asterisk, Alessandro doesn't answer right away, his eyes sweeping across the dimly lit warehouse. He takes a few steps forward, his footsteps echoing off the cold concrete floor. Elian can see his broad shoulders tense underneath his soaked shirt, beads of rain still clinging to his dark hair. Asterisk, he stops in front of an old couch, which looks like it was once velvet, but is now torn and worn. Without a word, he gestures for Elian to sit down. Get dry. Asterisk, his voice is commanding, brokering no argument. Asterisk, Elian hesitates for a moment, glancing at the worn couch with uncertainty. His body aches and trembles from the cold, but he doesn't want to appear weak in front of this intimidating man. Still, he knows better than to disobey. Asterisk, slowly, he sinks onto the edge of the couch, wincing as his bruised legs protest. He wraps his arms around himself tightly, trying to hold in what little warmth he is left. Thank you. Asterisk, he murmurs quietly. Alessandro. Asterisk, he says the name again, softer this time, not just out of politeness, but like it means something. Asterisk, Alessandro watches as Elian gingerly sits down, his expression stoic and unreadable. He notices the way he grips himself tightly, as if trying to keep himself together, physically and mentally. It stirs something deep within the mafia boss, memories he tries desperately to keep buried, but he pushes those thoughts aside. He has a job to do. Stop thanking me. Asterisk, his voice is harsh, as if irritated by Elian's gratitude. Don't get used to my kindness. It's a rare commodity in this world. Asterisk, Elian flinches slightly at Alessandro's harsh tone, feeling a pang of guilt for expressing appreciation. In his experience, acts of care and kindness were few and far between. His father's idea of love was all pain and cruelty, so any kindness, no matter how small, was a rare gift. Asterisk, swallowing the lump in his throat, he nods slowly, keeping his eyes downcast. I understand. Asterisk, he replies softly. Asterisk, I won't take your help for granted. Alessandro's gaze sharpens as he studies Elian's downcast expression. sensing the boy's internal struggle. Part of him, the small, buried part deep within, wants to be gentler, to offer some form of comfort, but his hardened exterior wins out. You'd better not. Asterisk, he grouses, crossing his arms over his chest. The action only accentuates the powerful muscles underneath his shirt, adding to his intimidating presence. Asterisk, for a moment, silence hangs heavily between them. Then, asterisk, you're scrawny. Asterisk, Elian lifts his head at Alessandro's sudden comment, surprised by the bluntness, yet accuracy of his assessment. It's true, he's always been thin and frail, a far cry from the muscular and powerful man towering over him. He tries to shrug nonchalantly, not wanting to be perceived as weak or vulnerable. His voice is small as he responds, asterisk, yeah, I've never been able to put on much weight. Alessandro's eyes roam over Elian, taking in his small frame and delicate features. To the mafia boss, the boy is the definition of fragile, soft, and weak, easy prey for the predators of this dark world. When was the last time you ate? Asterisk, he asks suddenly, his tone almost challenging. And don't lie to me. Elian's face flushes in embarrassment at the question, feeling exposed under Alessandro's intense gaze. He ducks his head again, avoiding eye contact as he responds quietly, a couple days ago, I guess.